Hi, I'm Gina Gannon of YourVelocity.com, and I'm here with professional musician, songwriter, and music producer John Oates, best known for his work with Daryl Hall from Hall & Oates. John is a member of the Songwriters Hall of Fame and was recently inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Thank you so much for joining us, John. I can't wait to talk to you.
Thank you.
So at what point in your career did you realize there's actually more to the music business than just making music, that you really have to treat it as a real business?
Well, you know, we came up during a period of time, Daryl and I started back in the kind of the early days when the music business was a remnant of the earliest days of rock and roll. And there was a lot of corruption, and not to say there still isn't, but there was a lot of corruption, a lot of dirty dealing, and a lot of, let's put it this way: it wasn't put out in front, and it wasn't spoken about, then things kind of got slipped under the table. So I learned kind of the hard way. Daryl and I made a lot of mistakes. We paid for it in a lot of ways. So I learned that the music business was full of people who like to take advantage of artists. So that was one of the first things I learned, and to this day I'm very wary of that, and I've learned a lot since, and my experience is, of course, a lot greater, and I've had much better counsel and much better advice as the years have gone on.
And then speaking of advice, what advice would you give to someone who's trying to enter the music industry and the music business itself?
Well, if you're talking about a young artist, a new artist, that is one of the toughest questions to answer, because I work with a lot of young artists and new artists, and it's very frustrating for me because I see how passionate they are and how talented they are for the most part, and how hard they work, and it's very, very difficult to break through. The world has changed so drastically. The internet has been both a positive and a negative on many levels, and of course we probably don't have enough time to go into all that. But I would just say that the best thing to do is write the best songs you can, be true to yourself, try to do things that you feel passionate about, make the music that you believe in, that you really can stand behind, and try to develop a fan base, and the best way to do that is to play live.
Can you tell us what it takes to manage the business side of the music business, like organizing record sessions, booking shows? Well,
in my solo career, I do a lot of that myself. I actually enjoy it. I feel like rather than trying to communicate my ideas and my desires and needs through a third party, things get convoluted. So I actually do most of that myself. When it comes to Hall & Oates, it's a much bigger organization and a bigger set of issues. So we have a manager, we have a booking agent, we have lots of lawyers, and which we try to keep them really on the sidelines. But when they're needed, you know, they come in handy. So I think to generalize, surrounding yourself with good people who you can trust is really one of the keys.
Now, are there anything you would have done differently had you known what you know now when you first started?
Yes, many things. I would have been more aware of the type of papers I was signing and contracts I was signing. I would have been more aware of the long-term ramifications of the things that I was doing, and the deals that were being made either by me or on my behalf. I would have been a little bit more sensitive to the type of people I surrounded myself with, and try to find, here again, I'm repeating myself, but try to find people that I could really trust. I think that was probably one of my and Daryl's biggest mistakes.
Entering into the music business, I know it was something you've always wanted to do. Mm-hmm. What were your expectations when you first started?
Well, I really never wanted to enter into the music business. I wanted to enter into music. Oh. I really look at myself as a musician first. It's all about the music, and it's interesting that the music business is a typical example of the tail that wags the dog. You know, the dog should be the artist and the songs and the music. The tail should be the business and should not be controlling that. Over the years, the music business has taken a much more proactive role in artists' lives and in their careers, in the music itself. And I think that's really one of the reasons that the music business has gone downhill in a big way. You can see it for yourself. You know, CD, record sales, whatever, almost gone away, basically. Luckily for me, I came up through a time and I have a foundation of success that I can build upon, and I can do shows like this here at Sellersville. It's an intimate show, and I do it for the love of the music. But I'm very fortunate, I'm very unique in that regard, because I can do that.
Right. So now, speaking of success, when you were younger and you were entering into the business, did you ever think you would have the success that you have now?
Oh, not in a million years. I never dreamed of any kind of success, really. My goal was to be able to make music and make a living. And it was as simple as that. As the times went on and as Daryl and my success grew, you know, we had different aspirations and different goals. The goals keep moving. It's like, you know, it's always a little bit ahead and you keep trying to achieve something greater and more. But it wasn't our motivation. Our motivation was to make music. And really, in the end, when we made decisions later, especially later on in our career, the decisions were totally predicated on what would allow us to keep writing songs and making music. That was the important thing to us.
So I guess overall, your mission was just to make music, and you're lucky that you're still able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it all comes from the music. You know, I did it recently. I spoke to a high school class, and one of the kids said, you know, how do you become a star? What's it like to be a star? And I said, well, being a star is the result of hard work. It's the result. It should not be the goal. It should be something that happens because you've put the time in, you've worked hard, and you're passionate about it. And if you become a star, that's just really something extra. It's not, to me, shouldn't be the motivation why you do this.
Right. So going into it, you weren't saying, I want to be John Oates.
No. I didn't want to. I just wanted to play the guitar and sing, and hopefully someone would like it. It was as simple as that.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with us.
Thank you.
To learn more about John Oates, his music, and tour dates, go to his website, johnoates.com.